Okay, it's Mark, and it's time again, of course, for our live show. And tonight we got a lot of stuff lined up. Let me see here. I've been kind of working really fast to make sure I didn't miss anything. And let's see. First, just another friendly reminder that our monthly challenge will be over. Let me see here. I'll line this all up here. Let's see. Get rid of this welcome screen. Okay, so all right, line up there, you. There we go. Okay, so April 6th will be our is our deadline for our monthly challenge, and of course the topic is going to be spin. So just a reminder, if you guys have not started working on this yet, or if you have, you might want to start the animation phase of your challenge, because that always takes a lot of time. And of course, you can find our monthly challenge entries by clicking on monthly challenges and going to click here to enter. And when you click here, you will find right at the top is our latest challenge. So definitely check that out. Now, I've got some big news, but I'm going to talk about that later. Say that the best for last. Well, maybe not the very last. Maybe not, because we need time to talk about it. But it does fall in line with a lot of what we have been talking about in the past couple of weeks, actually. So it's kind of interesting. It's something well, I never expected personally, but all right. So first off, Joy Stamp, who regularly visits our live shows, sent me a message about a fish he animated, and actually he was kind of wondering about how it was best to animate. Is it best to animate something fast on ones or twos? So what that means is when you, for example, you move your puppet, do you just click off one frame and then move it again and click another frame and move it again, click another, and so forth? Okay, thanks, Janet. Janet just sent me some links to something she wants me to show later on. So that's a good question. Like, how do you know what to do? Like, do you just, look at something and figure that, well, if I animate it on ones, I can animate something fast? Or does it work when you animate something fast on twos? So it really depends on your frame rate. Now, Joy animated this at 24 frames per second. So let me play it and we can see what it looks like here. All right, so it's really super quick. Like you gotta kind of prepare yourself. There's no, it's very sudden. So moves. Let's kind of keep replaying it here. Okay, so my recommendation, so if you guys watch this, I don't know what you think about it. First off, it's pretty quick. And one of the reasons why, if you've ever watched, like, for example, a Disney film or, a Pixar film, or you've watched, The Corpse Bride, or you've watched, Paranorman, something like that, or an Aardman film, there's certain rules that you follow, and there's reasons for the rules, and it's not because conformity is almost never good in animation, because you always want to be unique. But there's aspects to this that could be improved. And first off, I think that the speed is not bad. Okay, because you can see it moves. It's smooth, right? You can tell it's moving properly. But one of the things that I would always try to do if I'm doing something like this where there's a lot of fast moves is to do some anticipation. And what anticipation means is, so let's watch what the fish does first. Whoops. I'm trying to pause it on the correct spot here, but okay, so he composited it into another scene, and that just comes up automatically. But you'll notice that it kind of goes to the right, goes to the left, and then goes down. Right? So we go right, left, down. Right, left, down. Right, left, down. So like there's nothing wrong with this at all. It's actually, it's like I say, it's good, it's smooth. But for the audience when they watch it, it's so sudden that you don't know that he's going to move to the left. Right? It just seems like he gets, maybe like someone takes a baseball bat, bang, hits him, and he goes the other direction. Or he hits a wall, boop, oh, okay. The wall's made of rubber and he bounces off and goes down. So what you'll notice in a lot of films, what they do is they try to make the audience know that something's going to happen before it actually does happen. So what they'll do is they'll kind of give some anticipation and pauses. And I think that would have helped this animation to look better. I don't think ones or twos was really the important thing because it's technically smooth. So you could actually do this on twos if you wanted to, but just when you space your moves, space them twice as fast, or twice as far. But shoot it on twos, you can get pretty much the same effect. But what would be good is if, come on now. Right before he turns left, here, it would be good if he sort of paused before he turned and then moved. So it wouldn't be such a sudden shift from one direction to the next. And the same would be true for when he moves down. So you don't really know he's going to move down, and there's no indication of a reason why he would move down. He just moves, So from an animation perspective, that would be something that I would think of for beginner animators who are trying to make something have a little bit more life in it. And the reason why I say life is because when you animate something, you want them to appear to be thinking. And the thinking is the part that makes something believable more than the actual the motion, because you can have something mechanically move, but it appears to have no life. But if you make a robot and he pauses and he thinks, oh, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. That little pause in there actually gives the character more character, and becomes more something that you can relate to, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So if you yourself move around, what do you do before you move to the right? Well, first you might look with your head first, and then you'll turn the rest of your body after that. And you're so used to seeing other people do that when you see like a fish like this, he doesn't move his head to the right first. He just kind of moves his whole body. Like there's no thought behind his motions. So even if you're not a good animator, if you can get something to appear to be thinking and anticipating and calculating, that actually adds more to your animation than the technical expertise. So 24 frames, 2 frames per move, or 3 frames per move is not as important as getting that emotion or thought or behavior to read to the audience. Now, like, the audience needs something there to actually read, to understand it. So I guess that's kind of what I would say to Joy. And so he asked me about that, and I sent him a video of some real fish, to check out, and maybe I could bring that up. Let's see. And I believe if I do that, okay, let me load this up here. All right, so somebody had uploaded this to YouTube. And why did that become wide like that? It's one of those strange quirks of Windows 10, is if you move something from one screen to the next, all the dimensions of what you've moved change. But anyway, let's go forward here to watch some real fish on our screen and see what they do, and see if there's any clue to what's going on here. So you can see that there's a lot of times where the fish will move, and he'll kind of move just a little bit before he makes a big move. So you see there, like he makes these smaller moves and then decides, I'm going to move in that direction. And it's not in all cases. But they also have eyes that move, so his head doesn't always have to move as well. But if he had, expressive eyes, you could make the eyes sort of move in the direction he's going to go before he moves, because you can see his little eyeballs moving in there too. So anyway, that's kind of just an example of the thought process behind motion in animation. Now, so some of the people in chat are saying, Beard Botnik says, I always felt less frames looked snappier while more frames were smoother. And Ron is saying you can do both, mix 2s with 1s for different actions. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. Even for fast motion, you can do it on 2s, but you can have like some of the cell animator tricks where you add blur, or like blur strokes in between things, where if an arm moves like in a karate chop sort of motion really super quick, what you can do is you can actually add like multiple hands or fingers or arm segments to it, and that will sort of give you the illusion that there's more frames when there's less. It's kind of an interesting thing. And a lot of good animators know how to use that really well. Something like maybe if Bruce Lee was using nunchucks in stop motion, you would almost definitely have to use multiple nunchucks for fast motions, where you have one nunchuck moving through the air, but in between the first and last poses, you would have, let's say 4 individual nunchuck props, or in between that, evenly spaced, as he swings that nunchuck through the air, or like a sword strike or something. You could do that as well. And a lot of, I think it was, oh man, what was that old clay animated film that Webster Colcord worked on with the mice in the church? And there were these clay animated mice where one of the characters, he shakes his head like like he tries to make this motion really quick, like he's cold and shivering. And they added like 3 or 4 nose tips in between his left and right head moves, and it looked really awesome. And his face jiggles with little pieces of clay sticking out, and it's so fast that you don't notice that it's not like 4 frames, individual frames, one after another. It's actually one frame that has 4 frames within it. So it's kind of amazing what you can do. So Beard Botnik says, feel like it can be a consideration too if you want to blend different animation types. Consistency can help blend 3D and stop motion. And Ron Cole says, excellent point. I always need to get into the mind of the thing I'm animating, even if it's a worm. And Ron also says, if you mix stop motion with live action, you can have to shoot the same frame rate as the live action, which is virtually always 24. Yeah, 24 frames per second is pretty standard. All right, so Janet was wanting me to show some of this stuff, which is the Power Princess stop motion Dragon Games Ever After High videos. And let me just go over here real quick and make this big so I can read everything on this screen. Okay, now Janet, I think you sent me a message on the fan page. So let me go there. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, messages. 2 messages. Let's see. The message system on our fan page is kind of, it's not very good. It doesn't notify me in my normal inbox if I get messages from people. So sometimes I go, weeks without replying, and I'm like, oh, I got messages. I didn't know that. I should probably check it more often. Okay, so. Okay. Let's see. So we got lots of links here from Janet. Let me look if I can open some of these up first. Oh, okay. So they actually have like these ball jointed Barbie dolls. This is weird. Now let me see if I can open this. Looks like they modified them, perhaps. And if they didn't, they'd be pretty good toys for animation. Oh, okay. Very cool. All right. That's cool. And then this one. Yeah, all right. I'm going to show you guys in just a second here. Okay, so now I have shown Clay Kids before, so I'm not going to show that tonight. Although that's really cool. All right, let me put this back. Let's see if it remains the same shape. I did. Oh. Very cool. Ah, get back there. Yeah, Windows 10 is, I think, more designed for tablets than for PCs. They kind of try to make it like a hybrid, so a lot of times you expand things and it just pops to the full size of your screen there. So, let's go back here now. These are some of the messages I got, and I closed this. Put this here, put this here. So, here's some Barbie dolls. It looks like they were modified for stop motion, perhaps. With these kind of joints. So I don't know, this is sort of like a sandwich joint. Now, I'm not really sure. Is this actually modified for stop motion, or are they selling these like this? Because if they are selling them like this, it looks like they've got maybe some sort of pegs that go through these plastic knee parts here. And this is sort of like just a sandwich type configuration, and I don't know if how they kept the tension on these, but I would imagine this kind of a ball joint would not be as good as this one, because this one here you can move it more easily, and there's some kind of like connectors here in the elbows. So let's see if there's any clues to how they did this. Or maybe they didn't have to do anything. Maybe it was just like I say, maybe it's like that. And so I guess this is in Polish. Let's see if we can expand this one here. So somehow these things are moving and holding their pose, which is kind of interesting. And there's the result. You can see here. So it seems to hold the pose really well. I mean, we've got clothing on here, which would that would be like resistance, you know, for the character. It would actually try to pull these arms back. And you know, of course I don't have it in my hands, so I don't know if there's any sort of springiness to this or not. This kind of shows some of the different poses you can do. Let's see here. So it holds the poses really great. I mean, if little kids had toys like this, I mean, this would be a perfect thing to animate. And Beard Botnik is saying that I know that tension can be kept by using a wax. And Janet says, if someday I buy, then I change her head. And Beard says, I know the robot chicken guys will stiffen joints using wax. So that's pretty cool to know. So I guess in toys, yeah, because with toys, sometimes they're a little bit loose and wiggly after a while. But the poses here seem pretty nice. Like, it actually works pretty good. Now, I don't know if this is the same figure. Let me see with the elbows. So the elbows kind of have that here. That little extra piece. And here, I guess, as well. Well, that's pretty interesting. So, I mean, little kids could definitely buy these for sure. And use them for stop motion. Very neat. So, now I'm going to close this. And I'm going to close this as well. We've got some videos where people had animated these ever after high characters. So we're going to watch this. Let me see if I can expand it first before I show it to you guys. Alright, let's see what this is like. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. I can tell they definitely would have modified these a lot for animation purposes. But the actual arm joints and stuff seem to hold up pretty well. Like, I was thinking when I was watching this, like, if I was living in somewhere where it's really hard to find stop motion supplies, or if it's really expensive to ship supplies to my own country, if they were selling these, I'd probably, you know, think of buying some and then cutting up the parts just for the joints and whatnot, just for animation. It might be an inexpensive or fairly inexpensive way to actually to do that. So Janet is saying at 104 there's some kind of error. Let's go over here. Ah, okay. Looks like they might have tried to animate the eyes here. See if I can pause it. Yeah, let's look at this. This is probably, I'm guessing, digitally done here. Oh. Let's look again. Yeah, it's digital. Because I saw her eyes, the whole entire eye area here shift. Let's look again here. Ah. And it might have been that they... Yeah, here we go. So it's mostly digital here. They probably just use like Photoshop or something to do that. The other thing I noticed is like when they're doing all this dance move stuff here, it appears that what they've done is they've tied the puppets down through one foot, which would be their left foot. They probably stuck some sort of a metal rod of some kind under the set and then twisted them around on it. Because their left foot is always secured. And also the hair, that when they move the hair, like here, see on this scene, see if they show it. Yeah, so they got some follow through on the hair. They probably have some sort of wire in there as well that they've hidden under the little locks of hair, like right here, to get that springiness. And if they didn't, they could have even just used like tweezers to reposition the hair every so many frames. But it's pretty neat, though. I think that, you know, considering that these things are these puppets, these dolls are, you know, jointed that way, it's just really cool. Let's see. So we've got another video, I think, here. Where was it? So this here is, I believe, the behind the scenes. That so let's check this one out. See if I can load it. All right. Yeah, we've had some storms today, so hopefully the internet will work. Here, let me do this again. Oop. Here we go. Okay.
Hi there. So, we wanted to celebrate powerful princesses, and what better way than with a music video? It's going to be excellent. Apple is directing it. Cedar is building some totally fabulous sets. Dexter and Hunter are helping us build them. Oh, it's going to be excellent.
It's going to be a royal disaster. We started out fine, but we only have 1 hour to finish everything, and honestly, I don't think we're going to make it.
I always have to be in the spotlight. Can't somebody else do it for a change? This is gonna be all over the mirror net.
Raven, you're so much more courageous than you believe. You'll be wonderific. Besides, we'll all be right there beside you.
Thanks, Maddie.
Lice!
Oh.
I'm happy to be helping with the wardrobe, but I've got my hands full looking out for Dexter and Hunter.
Watch out! This is terrible. What were you thinking?
Is everybody okay?
Quiet on set! Come on, everybody. We can still make a great video if we all work together. Holly and I will help with wardrobe. And, darling, you help Dexter and Hunter build the sets.
We can use parchment to cover the hole.
And with a little paint, it'll look perfect. The only thing left now is the spotlight.
I've got this.
I knew it would be excellent.
All right, so that's pretty cool. I mean, they made this sort of behind-the-scenes animation, and yeah, I think Ron Cole is saying, like, if you're an 8-year-old girl, it's, you know, they'd probably think this is awesome, you know, in terms of the topic and the toys and all that. And then Janet says they don't use the mouth. Yeah, they don't animate the mouths, and it's not completely smooth. I did notice in the beginning here, where was it? Maybe it's, where was that shot at? This one here. If you look at it, it appears that what we were just talking about before. Now, see how her arms go down and it's a little bit jerky. Now, they were probably shooting that on 2s right here. And this is kind of the result. And I think what they were trying to do is make the motion slow. But what they were trying to do here didn't quite work out so well. And it might be because of the limitations of the joints. So what I'm trying to say is, maybe they couldn't get fine motion out of these joints to get a slow motion move, or a slow move, sorry. And so they shot it on 2s to make up for that. That would be my guess. And I also noticed here that if you look at the arms, they have sort of like this look to them, like it almost looks 3D printed or something. Like you can see these little, what do you call them? Striations. Especially here, you can see all the little lines and stuff. So I don't really know if this is a stock doll or what they've done. But yeah, let me see. Let's go back here one more time. So these are probably on 2s here. And then you can see it speeds up. So it could even be that what they did is they might have stretched out the animation in editing as well, slowing this part in order for it to fit with their storyboards, with the timeline. So there's a lot of possibilities. I mean, I don't really know for sure which one it is. Oh, okay. Can you guys hear me still? Am I back? Did YouTube cut me off for showing these things, or? And it could be my internet as well. Like the last week we had these problems too. Okay. Hopefully I'm back here. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna close this. Close this as well. All right, awesome. Okay, you guys can hear me great. Sorry about that. Yeah, sometimes, you know, it's one of those things that keeps happening with me lately. What time is it? 8:32 here. So, let's see. What should I show? No. Don Carlson sent me the link to this, and it's got like 5.5 million views. I never even realized that when I looked at this last time. They've got these commercials that they've done for Play-Doh and Paw Patrol. So it's sort of a mix of Maybe if I don't play the audio, they won't know that I'm showing it. I don't know. Hopefully they don't cut me off for showing this as well. But some really awesome morphs and things here. So let me show you. The title of this video is Paw Patrol Marshall Stop Motion Play-Doh Commercial, or Claymation, Plastilina Play-Doh. So it's in 2 languages here. Join Unboxing Surprise Egg on an adventure of fun and discovery with Kinder Surprise Eggs, Play-Doh toys, stop-motion videos, rare Japanese candies, and exciting new toys from around the world. So that's the description. And I think that Don told me that he thinks this is Jovi clay, which is not sold in America. It's more of a... I think it's sold in Spain and over there across the Atlantic Ocean primarily. Oh, okay. So Ron Cole is saying he's getting a package of Puppet Putty soon. Cool. That's awesome. I think it's pretty good stuff. It's a little bit, it takes some getting used to. If you're used to using something like water-based clay or some really hard Chavant clay, it's sort of in the middle, But some of this animation here is really cool, and they don't give any like credits to where you can say, oh, this animator did this. I have no clue who actually animated this. And so one of the false advertising aspects to this is that Play-Doh does not behave like oil-based clays like this. This is definitely an oil-based clay. So, I mean, they're kind of hoping that, little kids and their parents won't know. They might think, oh, you can do all that stuff with Play-Doh. And you really can't. It's almost impossible. Well, not impossible. I mean, you could. But by the time you get to the end of a shot, most likely your Play-Doh will be partially dried out and cracking. And but it's cool. When I was a little kid, when I was still in elementary school, we had this art teacher named Miss George, and the first time I saw clay actually sculpted into something was kind of like what you're seeing here. She pulled out a piece of clay, and she made a small dog, pinched out 4 legs, a head, and that was pretty much it. There was nothing to it, and it was this very simple sculpture, and that little demonstration is what pretty much started me into sculpting. I was so amazed by now you look back, I look back on it and it seems so silly, but it's really not. Stuff like this can really inspire kids to get into animation, and you never really know what impresses a little kid. So I don't really know what the relation of Patrick Star and Cookie Monster is with Play-Doh, or if this is some sort of licensing thing where they've ripped off these characters and they're hoping that they don't notice. But I kind of doubt it. I mean, Play-Doh is really widely known, but these are really cool animations, I thought. So I'm not going to show the whole thing because I am kind of worried now that you guys said that I got cut off. I don't want to show the whole thing, but like I said, you can look it up on YouTube. It's called Paw Patrol Marshall with 2 L's, Stop Motion Play-Doh Claymation. And it was uploaded on the 26th or 22nd of March. So, that's not up there for very long. And over 5.5 million hits already on this, which is really great. I mean, that's just I'm just trying to think of anything that would be, seen as widely in clay animation as this. That's just great. Another thing I want to point out is that Janet sent me some videos from Poland, which are this is a playlist, and these videos here, well, I don't know how you pronounce this, but I'm sure Janet, if we had a microphone, she could read this off and pronounce it precisely. My dad is from Poland, so he could probably read it as well. But these are some things that I've never seen before, and it looks like this was possibly shot in either the 60s or 70s. Some bear here.
Jestem sobie małymi, śmiesznymi, znam się z dziećmi. Nie od dziś. Kiedy patrzę na puszyste zaspy śniegu, przypomina mi się zawsze bardzo śmieszna przygoda z wroną.
Animation is really great. And now, so Toon R is saying, is Craft Smart Plastilina clay good? And actually, it's really good stuff. Yep, it's very good. It's along the lines of Van Aken, but it's pretty similar. I know there's some differences to it. I think it's a little bit more, maybe a little bit more of a waxy content in it, so it has a little bit more translucency. But I like it personally, and you can mix Van Aken with it. You can take a double boiler, melt them both down, Craft Smart Clay Toon Clay, and so if you have, for example, green, and then you have some yellow, and you want to make a sort of yellow green, and they're two different brands, you can mix them together, and it'll work just fine. And Jason says, it reminds me of Jeremy, which is also from Poland. Jeremy. Are you talking about Jeremy Spake? I'm not really sure. Jeremy, or like, is the film or the series of films called Jeremy? That sounds interesting. But this is, looks really neat. I just thought, and of course, Poland, they have pretty rich history of stop motion in that part of the world. Oh, okay. So Jason says that Jeremy was a stop motion of a bear's adventure that was popular with kids in Canada in the 70s. Wow, that's neat. Yeah, there's also like Paddington Bear was also done in stop motion. There's like a whole bunch of like bear animations in stop motion that are out there, but I'd never heard of Jeremy, and this is the first time I've ever seen these. But yeah, the animation is really cool. And I'm not really sure how they did their set floors, because if you look at their feet, they're doing all these little steps and things here and moving around, and I'm kind of curious how they patched up the holes where the tie downs were for that. It's in the snow, so I mean, maybe they were taking clay bits and covering the holes. There's some neat little animation there. He's going into the snow. And you notice they also hand knitted all these clothes as well, which is something that you'll notice they do in a lot of the films for Leica. I think Coraline had a knitted shirt. Very finely knitted on super teeny tiny knitting needles. And Janet says this is a classic and famous in Poland. Very neat. And also the style, the trees and everything, it look really nice. So this is definitely something worth studying if you're trying to understand stop motion. Like, look at the water here. They've got like little sparkly things in there. That's just really nice. Really cool style. All right, well, now we've only got about 15 more minutes left of the show. So, like I say, if you guys want to find this, you can look it up. This is actually a playlist, and it was posted on our fan page, so you might find it there, but I might post this later on. Actually, I might post both of these, so if you guys want to watch these later on, check out our fan page. I'll post those. So I got this little press release today, and in the past 2 weeks we've been talking about stop motion video games and incorporating, puppets that are made from clay or foam latex or silicone or whatever it is, and photographing them and then inserting them into video games. So we had this new video game called Hologrid Monster Battle. And what this is a video game that Phil Tippett is actually working on. And here's a picture of Phil. So it's called Hologrid Monster Battle. And it's also being worked on with Happy Giant. And they are a video game company. And they're going to be sort of taking the artistry with Phil and making this into two kinds of games. One, I guess, will be like a game on screen that you play on your computer, and the other will be an actual virtual reality game where you can wear a headset and look at these things in actual 3D. So what they've done is you might notice here at the top. Can I zoom in on this? Let me see. Yes. Of course, what I want to zoom in on is covered up by this box. But you might notice some of the characters from his... Can I do this? Let me see. Wait. Okay, I can't do it. But they've actually digitally scanned his puppets. And what they're going to do is they're going to animate them, I guess, digitally. As you might expect they would have to do for virtual reality. Because remember, I was saying in one of the previous videos, if you shoot something like this in stop motion, you have to shoot the whole thing at so many angles in order to move around it in space with your headset. Or you have to have a stationary headset and film the entire environment in 360 degrees. So I guess with this, one of the problems is that they probably figured that it's too much of a hassle to try and figure that out with stop motion. So they've just gone ahead and scanned these characters and essentially skinned them with the photos of the puppets themselves. And they've also got reflections and all kinds of stuff that I guess would be kind of difficult to do any other way. Let me see here. So there's another picture. You can kind of see here in this angle. We've also got this like glowing effect as well. So again, maybe this would be kind of difficult to do in stop motion and to make it virtual as well. So it's kind of neat that, Phil Tippett is actually working on something like this, which is, I believe, a first for him. I don't think he's ever made an actual video game except for in like the Star Wars films, which is, famous, of course. But it's not something you can actually interact with. And there are people trying to make that the hollow chess, as they called it in the films. They're trying to actually do that using a similar kind of virtual reality, but it uses I forget the term. Now. What is it called? Where you take like a card that has a design on it, and when you put your cell phone camera on there, it will place the character on it, and then when you move the card, the character is seen moving within the cell phone camera, but it's actually invisible. Let me see if this is the same video. I might let's see. Okay, let's watch the video.
I'm Phil Tippett, the founder of Tippett Studio. So over the years I've been creating monsters for directors to play with, and now I'm creating monsters for you to play with.
Augmented reality was the term I was trying to think of. So I think now what you're seeing here is not the game as it will appear. I think what you're seeing here is you'll get like an actual chess table, right? And when you wear your special virtual reality glasses, this background that you see would be your actual house. And this would be your actual hand. So what you'll probably have are these little, like I said, like cards that you stick on each of these little chess squares and then probably slide them around. That's what I'm kind of thinking will happen, because you'll notice, let me see, go forward here. So where was it? All right. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, so you see here they've got like a card, right? And this card has this particular character on it. And your virtual reality headset will have a, like your camera, and it will recognize that this card is on a table and it's in that direction. So the character should show up on a table as well in that direction. And when you twist the card, the character spins around in this augmented reality sort of situation. So Beard is saying that's either going to be how it looks through a phone's camera or from Google Glass. Yeah. So maybe that's what they're planning on as well. I mean, maybe it'll be like an Android application, or some kind of download, I don't know. But either way, it looks pretty awesome. So again, this background here is not, I don't believe, how the game is going to look. I believe that would be like your tabletop or something like that. But I thought that's pretty awesome. So I don't know, would you guys buy something like this? I mean, I think it would be pretty fun. I don't know if the gameplay would be really amazing or not, but I know my nephews would probably eat this up. So yeah, pretty neat. And what else did let me see if I can, let me go on my email here real quick on the side. And see if there was any other information. I could probably read off the press release so you guys can, there we are. Okay, so it says, Tippett Studio and Happy Giant unveiled next generation AR VR game, Hologrid Monster Battle, and it's a hybrid board game, collectible card game, and digital game in one. So it's really a whole bunch of stuff. It delivers to players a new type of gaming experience. Phil Tippett is a two-time Academy Award-winning visual effects supervisor and director, best known for his work on the original Star Wars, Jurassic Park, RoboCop, and Force Awakens, and many more. Phil Tippett also created the holo chess scenes in the original Star Wars, as we all know. He says here, for years I've been making monsters for directors to play with, and now for the first time, I'm making monsters for you to play with. Said Tippett, we're excited about the new fields of augmented and virtual reality, and to be working with our friends at Happy Giant to create Hologrid Monster Battle. And it says here, creatures battle on your tabletop with AR, which is augmented reality. It says, Hologrid Monster Battle is being built for next generation AR and VR platforms, but will also be released for mobile devices. So, Beard, you're actually right there. It's for mobile devices as well. NPCs, giving the player the feeling that these creatures are doing battle right in front of you. The team is looking at all options, from publishing deals to crowdfunding. We're incredibly excited and interested in new platforms like Magic Leap, HoloLens, Cast AR, Meta, and others, as well as current AR mobile tech such as Vuforia. This is all new to me because I've never played around with augmented reality. But he's said Mike Levine, and president of Happy Giant. We believe in the future of AR gaming, and to be working with Phil Tippett and his studio on this project is a dream come true. The tech has finally caught up to the point where this game can be made. So that's pretty interesting. And, you know, they're right. I mean, Google Cardboard is only, I think, a few dollars. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. So, for example, here we have Google Cardboard, and the way that you use these things is you buy one, and you can get them for actually cheaper than 15 bucks. But let's just go here. So what you do is you slide your phone, and this is what the screen of your phone does in applications that use virtual reality and augmented reality. The screen will appear like this, and the image is stretched in accordance to the way that they make the lenses on these, which are really, you know, it's really cheap, right? It's just cardboard. But the lenses here will, you know, make this look proper. And a lot of times what will happen is let me see if it shows it. Oh, okay. They don't actually have a hole for your camera lens on your phone there, it looks like. But a lot of these, you have a little hole there where you can see through the actual lens of your camera, as well as having augmented reality objects placed in the scene that you're looking at. But it doesn't really give you a three-dimensional view, so I'm not really sure how this is going to work with Phil Tippetts, because you only have usually one camera lens on the back of your camera phone, right? Of your phone, cell phone, whatever. You know, but it would be ideal if they had two cameras that were about the same distance as your eyes, because then you can actually, you know, let's say drive a car and have the, you know, the speed and everything else show up in front of you in space or something like that. You know, you can think of applications like that. But with one lens, you can't see with depth perception. But anyways, this is kind of, you know, the most basic virtual reality headset you can get. And yeah, if you go on YouTube as well, maybe I can load up a VR YouTube video really quickly for you guys, so you can kind of see. I don't know if you guys even know this exists. I recently discovered this myself. Okay, VR. Oh, VR video. Okay. I'll mute this. So what it looks like is you've got the ability to look anywhere in the scene. So I'm grabbing this video and looking around. So I'm not really sure why it's in black and white like this anyway. Why is that? Alright. Let's go forward. Alright, so here is this guy. And they've got these camera systems where you can see, if you look straight down, it's just like a tripod here, like the legs of the tripod. And if you look straight up, you don't see anything. So these cameras can see virtually everywhere. And the camera itself, you know, won't see itself, obviously. But there's some like artifacting going on here where you can see it doesn't quite look right. But if you kind of look up and just look around, you saw like there was a line here. Like he walks through here, and it's not really a perfect technology. And this video is not really a good example either. But here's another one where you can actually watch a three-dimensional, two-sided video as well, like this. So when you wear your Google eyeglasses, like Google Cardboard, this would be your left eye, this would be your right eye, and it would look three-dimensional. And you can like cross your eyes if you watch this video, and you can see what it would look like in 3 dimensions when you cross your eyes to get the same effect, basically. And this one here doesn't give you the ability to actually look around. It's more the camera is built in and looks around for you. So that is what I guess Phil Tippett is currently embarking on, which is really neat. So Beard is saying the PS3 had a game like that using the iToy, I believe, and the 3DS has some games to that too that use augmented reality. And lots of videos will add a little coin logo at the very bottom. But it's fun using that with a smartphone or tablet since they almost all have gyroscopes. Yeah, that's how I guess they've got those little motion sensors in there, and so they know where your head is looking. So you can actually look left, you can look right, and the camera moves in accordance to where your head is. But I've heard that if you drive in the car, if you like turn the corner in a car and you're looking through the, through your lenses there, sometimes things will move because of the motion of the vehicle. But even when you're flying, like if you're taking off in an airplane and you try to do that, it's gonna look really weird. But it's a neat technology, and it's only like $15. You get a little plug-in, or what do you call it, an application for your phone from either iTunes if you have an iPhone, or if you have an Android, you just go to their app store and you can download YouTube apps and whatnot. And I looked into it, and it seems like a lot of people have complaints about it, like it doesn't quite work right. So like I say, it's a new technology, and I guess Phil Tippett is he's at the forefront of all these kind of things. So he's saying that the technology is already here. So this will be the latest and greatest way of making stop motion films, perhaps. Now let me just bring up also, let me see, what time is it? 9 o'clock already? Wow, time went by pretty darn quick. Alright, so I think I mentioned this last time that there are cameras out there that will do this kind of capturing of 360 degrees, but they're very expensive right now. And there's one that I saw that was really cheap. Let's see. 360 degree camera. There was one that was this one here for $400. But the drawback to these cameras that are the cheap ones like this is that they're not compatible with things like Facebook. They're not compatible with YouTube. So you almost have to shoot and look at these on your phone all alone. You can't share them in 360 degrees. So if you did buy one of these cameras to use for stop motion purposes, currently there's no way for people to view these, from my understanding. But the fact that you can buy one for $400, and the fact that people might, if this catches on, people might, ask Facebook, can you do something to allow us to upload videos for people to watch on Facebook using this technology? And if Facebook catches on, well, actually, you know what? They probably won't because they bought out Oculus Rift, right? So I bet they won't make these possible to view. I bet they'll use that proprietary Oculus Rift headset to make money off of, but I don't know. We'll have to see. So Ron Cole says, I watched that whole thing in 3D. I can do the iCross method. Yep, it works. And Beard says, I believe there is one called the Ryko Theta that is YouTube compatible. That's cool. Let's do a quick search for it. Ah, very cool. Let's see. That's It's good to know. This might be something worth looking into for sure. So it's a spherical panorama camera. And it has some good reviews as well. Well, mixed reviews, but for the most part, people are happy with it. Very awesome. So that might be a topic for next week. We should probably talk about this camera the next time. So anyway, that does wrap up our show tonight, and I do apologize for at least there's only been one technical glitch this time, not like last week. But if you guys have any questions or suggestions for our show next week, please send me a message, and we'll talk about it next time. All right. See you guys all later.